No. The prince was a fictional character, and this all takes place in the real historic setting, so it's not linked. But interesting question. Any others?
Earlier you said that the cutscenes were interactive and whatnot. If you deemed it necessary to kill the target right then and there, could you go first?
So the question was, we said that the cutscenes are interactive, and the question is that if you wanted to kill your target right then and there, could you? So the answer is that during the cutscenes, you maintain control over your movement, so you can move where you are to start plotting out your strategy. You also maintain control of the camera, and anytime you see an effect on screen, like a weird sort of white effect, you can press any button to get a zoom in on the scene, which gives you kind of cinematic details about the mission or about your character that you're about to go after. But we have limited the assassination capability because otherwise that would be too easy, wouldn't it? Right. Anyone else?
Hi.
Yes?
You mentioned anything about the game audio? Are you going to release a soundtrack or just for kids' music?
So the question is about the game audio. Are we going to release the soundtrack? And we did work with a composer named Jesper Kidd, who you may have heard of. He won a lot of awards like Best Score for Hitman, and he wrote the score for Assassin's Creed, and yes, we are going to release a soundtrack for that.
Oh.
Yes?
You just said in one thing, or can you go out on the city?
I barely heard that. I'm going to guess.
If you just say inside one city, or can you go outside the city to like...
The question is this set in one city, or can you go out of the city? In fact, we have created the whole entire place where the Third Crusade took place in a seamless way. So you have the Masyaf, which is the assassin stronghold in the north of Syria, and that's sort of where the initial part of the game takes place. You return often. And then we've recreated Acre. That's one city. That's the city we just showed you now. This is one mission that takes place in that city. We also have Jerusalem, which I think many of you have probably heard of. Also Damascus, which is, Damascus is the traditional kind that was never overtaken by the Crusaders, and that city is recreated as well with a completely different feeling. And we have all of the kingdoms in between that connects it all. That's where you have all the horse riding and the incredible views, and then there's also one last place, which is Arsus. That's where the legendary battle between Richard the Lionheart and Saladin took place, and you get to participate in that battle or play a key role in it near the end of the game. So more than one city, yes, that was a long answer, wasn't it? Okay, all the way in the back, but someone is going to have to repeat the question. We'll have to do a chain of questions. Did everyone hear that? I don't know if I need to repeat that one. Thank you. Are you going to make a faceplate for the game? Yes, in fact, I've seen quite a few faceplates for the game already. The designs are pretty cool. And, I don't know if anyone has one here as a sample, but yes. Yes?
Free gift.
Can you buy the faceplate?
Yeah, you can buy the faceplate, yes. Yep, right in front.
Is there going to be like a night and day cycle and then you do a weather effect?
The question is a night and day cycle and realistic weather effects. Each city has its own mood. So, for example, in Acre, historically that was recently overtaken by the Crusaders. It's filled with more military, it's dark, it's by the ocean, so it's much more misty, and you have that kind of misty weather effect. When you're in Damascus, that's like really the authentic city. It's very hot, it's near the desert. You're going to have the brighter sun in that city, and more dust and those kinds of things. In Jerusalem, the filter is green, it's a bit more fresh and crisp. So each city has its own personality.
How does the rating system work? How do you know how well you've done?
Oh, how do you know how well you've done, like in the game? Well, we have achievements for people who have the Xbox 360 version.
That's fine. Each mission, how do you know how well you've done in that mission?
Okay, well, there's a different approach with Assassin's Creed. Actually, that's a really good question. His question, for those who didn't hear, was how do you know how well you've done in each mission? And we've tried to do something different with this. It is an action-adventure game, but we wanted to blend sandbox components with that. So how you complete, and that's like kind of extending it not only to, you decide on the order that you want to do your missions, you don't have to do all the missions, there's side missions, all the usual sandbox stuff, but we've even taken the approach further in terms that each mission can be accomplished with your own style. So, for example, that was kind of what we just did with a classic assassination path where you stay more stealthy. And if that's the way you like to play and you manage to, and I think that's an interesting challenge, I'm going to try and play the whole game like this, try and take out all of the guys without ever getting the guard alert up. But you can equally also go into each mission and do an all-out battle, and you can run away. And in some cases, if they are courageous targets, because the ones who are cowards, you have to chase after them the minute they see you. But the ones who are courageous, actually this guy, if we didn't accomplish our mission and we were feeling like we're being overtaken, we could have run out of that fortress, and he would have actually run after us. So the emphasis is really on your own creativity, and I think that's the big difference is when people get the controllers, they're like, okay, what's the right way, what's the right path? And really it's about you creating your own path and finding some new strategies. So, I mean, my definition of the best way to play is if you can come tell me, later, I've figured out this new way to play that developers that you guys never even thought of, and I think that was, yes. The reward that you get is kind of like either their friends become your friends, and you can use those guys in gameplay in a lot of interesting situations. Okay. One more question, then we're going to start calling people up so you guys can play. We'll take this question here. Yes? So, I think the question is, our engine, which is the scimitar engine, I think this guy is a spy over here. How did you know the name of the engine? That's really crazy. Yeah, so our engine is the scimitar engine. It's something we created from scratch for this game, which is one of the reasons we've been working on it for so long. And it is what allows us to do things that you haven't really seen before. It's what allowed us to make these huge cities where everything is